Fed up living like a monk. 42 male and 39 female.
So me, 42 male, and my wife, 39 female, have been married for almost 10 years, together for 12.
Relationship has been great up until a couple of years ago when we started to become less physically intimate. She developed some other symptoms which eventually ended in a diagnosis of early menopause. She started hormone replacement therapy around 6 months ago, which has alleviated some of the symptoms but not all. Her libido is now virtually non-existent. We've always had a physical relationship, and I'm finding it really hard to live without this now. We have sex maybe once a month, and to be honest, it feels like pity sex most of the time. I've given up trying to initiate anything now. I feel unloved and unwanted.
She said to me last night, as I was about to fall asleep, that she was sorry she doesn't put out much. She said it along with something else. I just ignored the comment about not putting out as it was too late to talk about it and I was tired. But it woke me up as I thought about the phrasing, because it's not something she would normally say. Not putting out indicates that she doesn't really want it but is doing it more from a sense of duty or obligation.
I don't want that. I want someone who genuinely wants to get physically intimate because they want to, and because they want to with me. Actually struggling to cope with this.
I find myself looking at couples out on the street and wondering how many times they do it, how the guy must feel to lie in bed with someone who gets horny, etc.
Quite soul-destroying actually. Any advice on what to do next would be appreciated. Update 1. Wow, thanks for all the comments everyone, some very useful and some less so. I should maybe have said, I'm not out to blame anyone for this situation. It is what it is. But based on a couple of the comments, I had to check if I'd posted it in that Am I the A-hole subreddit by mistake. Some people are so quick to judge or blame or shit on others.
I can't help the situation as much as my wife can't help the situation. Running her a bath and lighting some candles ain't gonna cut the mustard.
Doing more around the house, I already do more than 50% of everything given I work less than she does and it works well for us, again won't change things. We have a good connection and can talk about anything and everything. We spend time together. We laugh at and with each other. There's no other friction in the relationship that I'm aware of. We actually get on like a house on fire. She's my best friend. But as one of the posters said, the lack of physical intimacy and desire is taking its toll now. I can't just make my feelings disappear, and I don't feel I should be shamed just because I want/need one of the most basic of human connections. Thanks to those who have shared personal stories and experiences, these have been really helpful. The communication bit I 100% take on board. We've not spoken about this specific issue for a few months now, so it might be worth raising it again at an opportune moment where we can discuss it calmly and rationally. Update 2. Overwhelmed at the number of responses, but they're all appreciated. I will reiterate what I said above, this isn't about blaming anyone, the situation is what it is. Quite a few people have asked various questions about what previous conversations have been had and what kind of things we do together now. We have spoken about this situation at great length over the last 2 years since the symptoms started. We watched programs and read up about it together, as I wanted to support her as best as possible. We had open and frank conversations about all the symptoms and we researched different ways to counter them: lifestyle, diet, exercise, medication, etc. We still discuss the symptoms and progress to this day, although the conversation about libido has taken a back seat as I didn't want her to feel pressured. So just to clarify, the last 2 years have not happened in the absence of any communication. I'm deeply aware of how my wife is feeling going through this as, again, it has been discussed at great length. She's fed up, resentful, towards the symptoms, not me, worried. But also accepting to a certain degree that there's limited scope for treating it and getting all the symptoms under control. I've stopped trying to initiate any sexual contact with her. We still cuddle and are affectionate towards each other, but it's like there's now an invisible barrier. Maybe it's my way of dealing with it, to avoid disappointment or rejection, that I have now stopped putting myself in that position. I don't see my wife as a piece of meat as some people have suggested, nor do I see her sole purpose as providing me with sexual gratification. We used to have a very active and healthy sex life. 4 to 5 times a week was the norm. For both of us, passionate physical contact was one of the ways we both enjoyed expressing our love for each other. It's this that I'm mourning the loss of.